because when I hope that
Hey everybody, I didn't even start the show, but I'm here and we'll be back. What's up again, and welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles weekly pick'em. Okay, guys, we're done with all the picks. I'm back to tell my guys what's up. They switched it up on me tonight. We got my boy D Jones on your left, and we got my boy Coach Pat on the right. Now, look, we only have one game to talk about. We already know, right? Everybody knows the outcome. We saw the parade today. Everybody having a great time. I mean, who gets to have a parade in a boat? But hey, COVID brought about that change. You know what? I think people might get creative with these championship parades after that, because I was kind of digging that. But if you guys didn't catch us last week, you would know that I went solo. I have no problem going solo. I took an L, but I'm never a loser. Just remember that. So my boys, D Jones and Coach, they found some winning action. But if you've been joining us all season, we've been having some good times, especially with our guests during the playoffs. And our reoccurring guest, Nephew Q, he's been, giving us such good energy, in the comments or when he joins the show. And he gave us his own spiel about 3 weeks ago. He told us, right, during the AFC NFC Championship weekend that he was committed and proposing to his team because they were going to have a wedding on February 7th. And, after all of that, I had to invite him on the show, right? So for pre-game show, we had Q on, and Q made sure we knew that his wedding would take place on February 7th. And we tried to invite a Kansas City Chief fan and have some fun banter. And, we ended up in this whole debate about the wedding and the retirement. And Kansas City fan decided to tell us that it would be Brady's retirement party. And of course, Tampa Bay said that it would be a wedding. Guys, how did it turn out? Was it a wedding? Was it a retirement party? And in case you missed the show, I could do it no justice with my verbal replay. So let's take a look. Okay. He committed and he proposing. Oh, cute. Oh, I said get married. Now what? You coming back? You coming back? Joey got the best clap back. He said the wedding date is February 7th. Nephew Q.
Wow.
Nephew Q, what's up? Congratulations.
Wow.
wow.
Congratulations, Nephew Q.
Oh man, thank you. That was beautiful. That was well done. You can't see it behind the glasses, but it brought a tear to my eye. It brought a tear to my eye. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I felt it was only fair. Excuse me, guys. I felt it was only fair that, I give you a grand introduction because, as a wedding, right? The bride comes down the aisle and everybody and all attention is on her and the focus. And how can we not give you all the focus? I just want to make sure that everybody, out there watching us live, they get a close look. I want to tell you a little about this guy. And I want to make sure you check out Beyond the Game Kentucky on YouTube. This guy told us when we were just trying to pick who would win the division, not the playoffs, not the Super Bowl, but the division. He let us know, oh, we going to the Super Bowl. And so when you can be that confident in your team, man, you deserve some solo action.
Look at the
So look, we got you. We got to give you some jam time. We was ready for you, Q, because I mean that's what we do here. I love to make people feel good and important. But I just distinctly remember you telling us something that was really important. And so I think it's important we run that back.
Because when I hope that after the 7th, you guys have me back, and I want Dwayne to come on, and I apologize in advance, Gransberry and Coach Pat and D Jones. If y'all guys have me back after the Super Bowl, after we win, I'm just gonna sit on here and look at Dwayne Johnson the whole entire time and not say not one word. I want all that same energy you got right now. I want that.
You will have it. You will have all this smoke
the whole entire time.
You will have all this smoke. Anywhere to 7th, you will have all this smoke. But I'm not gonna be quiet though. When if they have me back on, I'm gonna ask you, how you feel.
I mean, I love how y'all just promoted yourselves to be back on the show. I mean, I think I'm like already put on the spot. Like, how can I say no? I mean, I've been offered a retirement party speech or the best woman speech. I can do. So, hello, Dwayne. Are you ready to hear that best woman speech? Dwayne, we can't hear you. And I know that's probably because you are on mute. I don't know why.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We can hear you, loser. We can hear you. We can hear you.
I took an L, but I'm like you said, I'm not a loser. Come on, man. Bring it to me.
Oh, he told you already. He said he had no word.
Bring it to
he
me.
was just going to look at you. So I guess we have to do all the talking.
So you got some explaining to do, D.
So I'm explaining.
I mean, what happened to the express train? It seemed like it never left the station.
I don't know. I mean, they must have got drunk the night before or something. I'm gonna make every excuse in the book today because that's what we're gonna do. Andy Reid's son first came on and ran over a kid. God bless that child. Yeah. So Andy's head wasn't in the game. The enemy, I don't know. He might have been let down that Houston didn't interviewed him and didn't hire him.
Time out. Don't. Slow your roll.
He's bringing other people into the fight.
Right. Like you can't win.
Le'Veon Bell didn't even get any touches. Eli was doing good.
He didn't even touch the field.
No, he didn't get any touches. None.
Was he dressed?
Was he dressed? He was dressed.
He was on the other side of the white line. He didn't get inside the white line.
But he was on the sideline. Support. Patrick played a great game, but no line to block it. I mean, dude was throwing passes with like floating in the air and all that old crazy stuff. But
can you see Q? Can you see Q, Dwayne? Because I want to make sure you can see his stare down.
I look at Q. Q has his cigar and he's looking at me like what?
Now, Q, I did go against your team. We've had our battles with that, and I was quite surprised by the lack of change by Andy Reid. I think I was kind of disappointed in like the adjustments. It's not even that the adjustments were failing; there just was nothing.
Lack of.
And Tampa didn't have to adjust anything they were doing because there was no response on the other side. But the look you're giving me right now is, it's just giving me that feel of like how you like me now, and I feel like, you would need like your own soundtrack. I mean, it's probably
Kumo Q, huh?
I might use that. I might use that next show.
but Dwayne, I think what probably happened to you is, your white van was in the neighborhood. You got picked up. And so when you got picked up, maybe a few players were in the back and they mind and spirit, it just didn't make it to Tampa. But, we have another guest that's joined us before. And during that time, Nephew Q and I had the opportunity to speak with him. His name is Todd, and Todd is a Tampa Bay fan. An interesting thing about him is he's tied to an amazing hot sauce, which Q and I tried live, and we had some good times with that hot sauce, actually.
So did.
And I'm still using it, Todd. And so the amazing thing about Todd is he was able to visit Tampa. And so, I'm still waiting for my dream moment to, see my team in the ultimate game, even just in the AFC Championship. We can start a little place and just keep it moving. I hope you hear my battle cry. But it's got to be even more amazing to actually see your team play and play at home. So we're going to bring on Todd, and Todd is going to share with us his experience at the game. Todd, can you hear us? Good evening. Are you excited? You sleep? You down?
What I'm getting ready to do is like cheat because y'all already know this is how it's going down.
I just want you guys to know we did not coordinate with Todd or Nephew Q for them to have cigars, because if that was the case, I would have made sure everybody had a good cigar. But obviously they on one accord and they celebrating. It's Wednesday. I guess you're still in the mood. Do you have some brown drink with you as well?
Yes, I don't travel far without it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to be diplomatic in my appearance, because it's just, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, trust and believe, I would never be diplomatic in a win, like ever. Like right. It would be unbearable. So if you want to let it out, you're free to let it out.
But right now, I was always told as a football player, act like you've been there before. So right now, although it's been 18 years, I'm gonna concede to my boy Nephew Q. Yeah, what he doing? In all the glory, because yes, I was down there for the game, had a great time. With everything going on, the NFL did a phenomenal job. I really got to give them credit for what they did down there. They still had the NFL experience. Security was tight. When I mean tight, they shut down the stadium at about 6 o'clock because you couldn't get nowhere around it.
Wow.
But people came from far and wide for the game. It was traffic as it usually is for a Super Bowl. So people showed up and showed out in a good way. And being the first to play at your home stadium means something. And they tried to make it as much of a home away game for them as possible. There was no firing of the cannons on touchdowns, because that was been the only time they fired, because Kansas City didn't get any. So I'm just saying it was just Raymond James Stadium was great.
It was lit. I visited Raymond James Stadium, and that was my first road trip. I talk about it all the time. It changed me forever. I've never been the same. Of course, we won that day. Y'all didn't win. But I have never been the same. I actually, have never witnessed you guys in person beat us. So every time I went to see Tampa, whether at home or on the road, we won. And I want to go back to a statement you made earlier, and you so nicely said, act like you've been there before. And, I'm uncomfortable with this approach that there is only one set of rules or standards for a fan or a football player. Now, if you're following the model of your coach, I'm sure you have your thing, right? We don't want too much going on the field or whatever. But once you have won, man, you have won. What you talking about holding back? Because at that point, you're not throwing it in anybody's face. You're not being disrespectful. It's your enjoyment. And I am a person that is like full of energy and enjoyment, especially when it comes to football. And I couldn't even imagine trying to contain it to try to act like I've been there before. So I understand your sentiment. You're saying like, well, we are champions. We were champions before Sunday, and so we don't have to overkill the champion. Well, your quarterback overkill, because I don't remember him throwing any Lombardi trophy when he was in New England.
Hey, but he was on a boat, so I
don't care.
That's worse. It
That's
could win the water.
That's worse.
He could have hit the
worse.
boat. He could have hit the water. I don't care. Nephew Q.
That's worse.
I want to go back to you because you're being extremely nice to our losing guest. And that's so touching. Sorry again, Dwayne?
I got a couple of questions for Dwayne. I got a whole bunch of
break
questions.
it down with me.
Distinguished guest talking. I like this.
Problem has always been everybody wants to granted, the 2 offensive tackles that y'all lost was a big deal. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
But as a professional, you should be next man up. Am I right?
You should be. You are 100% correct.
Why has it been so much talk about the lack of ability of these players because they didn't step up? Now, granted, the ones who were starters are starters for a reason. I get that.
Right.
Okay, so let me step in and Dwayne can answer from his standpoint because I want to make sure I'm following you right. You're saying that we should be spending more time to discuss why didn't the linemen step up?
People are talking about one of the main reasons why Kansas City lost was because the 2 starting linemen weren't there.
Well, I think that's probably a fan that's just angry on the surface, but I think everyone that knows football understands there's a huge responsibility to adjust and move on.
Right.
The only difference is when you speak of linemen, there are realistic things that are at issue. Timing, but we didn't have excessive false starts. And comfortable with the position. Because remember, they got moved over. They didn't just start, they got moved over. And being a person that is a fan of a team, I think I can speak on this a little bit better than Dwayne. When you constantly have linemen that are being moved around and you constantly cannot get a good set of linemen to protect your QB, that's exactly how you look. So if you want to know what it looks like when your linemen are not aligned,
okay.
That is what it looks like. You can replay the last 3 seasons of Houston, any game. Yeah. What makes it look better is when you have someone who's as athletic and efficient as Watson. And I think that goes undervalued. And that's not to like I said, to deter away. I still believe that Tampa Bay played an exceptional game. They played 4 quarters of football, and that their defense was prepared whether, the linemen were there or not. But I think I've seen enough of when you don't have the right lineman that's pretty much what it looks like if you got a week or a couple of days to throw in 2 new people at linemen. And we have had it happen a few times. And like I said, it just depends on what your QB can cover. But if that's never been your role, he still played, coach.
I'm sorry. That whole post that Q put on there from the Friday after next with Mahomes just running, man, it just came into my mind just thinking about that. That was straight up. I mean,
Q, we got a clip of B that's kind of similar.
Let's see that thing. Let's see it.
Oh! Don't worry. We'll play it in the group. It's up to Coach Pat. I don't have the official release rights. I don't have the official release rights on it.
Oh,
But because
That's
it is
family
truly
business.
Coach Pat.
That's
not-
family business. What you
That might be group chat talk. That might not be
Okay.
because we gotta protect Coach Pat's DMs because his DMs been blowing up.
With the entanglement and all of that.
So yeah, I mean, I was wrong about the Green Bay pick with that. I mean, but I was entangled that week. So I mean, there's nothing to I was picking between Brady and Rodgers, and I just thought Rodgers was gonna step up. I mean,
but you also said whoever had the ball last would most likely win. That was
right.
Your final take.
I told you I was entangled.
Yeah, you need to work that out. But Dwayne, I want to go back to you because Todd wants you to answer his question. I was only offering that I can understand some comments, but it will not excuse you to be, for having change of linemen in the game. So it just is what it is. So Dwayne, do you have a response?
I think he said he couldn't hear.
Oh, he can't hear. Well, I mean, I would say I couldn't hear either if I was losing. So
he can't hear. Kansas City can't score. They can't block. They can't run. They can't catch. They can't throw.
He running for his life.
I mean, that's why the adjustments didn't make it into Pat, huh? He couldn't hear. He couldn't hear the play call when they said run the ball and screens.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell didn't touch the field, and neither did LaShawn McCoy, and he still got him a ring. So
wait, I want to go back because I want to make sure I answer his question. So Greg, you asked me, it's not the same in a good or bad way. I didn't really see your comment when you first made it. If you tell me again in the comments what you're referring to, I'll be more than glad to answer. But if we got Dwayne back and he still want to give it a shot,
you got me back. I want to give it a shot. Ask me again. Which question was it? Because I couldn't hear.
He would like to know, based on the fact that you had to change linemen, why was that such an excuse? I mean, you're all professionals. It's next man up. So what happened?
I agree with Todd on that. But here's what I didn't agree. The referees, were they playing for Tampa Bay also?
No, because every call that they made was on the up and up. The only one that was questionable to me was maybe that Mike Evans pass interference. And
I disagree with that because Mike could have stretched and got it.
That's what I was going to say.
If he can catch it, it's a PI. I told y'all last week, Breland was a PI waiting to happen.
Yeah. You told us right.
Look, I also think that people got too excited with that excuse, and then that's what you're looking for. And then when they spoke on it during the halftime show, people heard what they wanted to hear because they were very clear in their message. They were saying that they are not letting them play. They're calling everything. They didn't say they were calling bad things or things they didn't see. So, you can call loosely or you can call tight. They kept it tight in the first half. I think it kind of loosened up. But whether it's tight or loose, you got to come to play.
And I think about what Tony Romo said. They were doing it all season. They just started getting called for it because they had to make up the difference. Because Tony Romo said it in the broadcast. They've been holding like that on defense all season. They just weren't being called for it. So,
that's probably true only in the sense that we've said several weeks we didn't think that the defense was winning games for Kansas City. It was clearly the offensive train that would carry the game and keep them from having it. So going back, Greg, I'm glad you're still joining us and you asked your question. He said, I was asking you of your experience in Tampa. My experience in Tampa was amazing, honestly. But, that was at this point a decade ago. And so I can tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So both times, I still remember that's Tampa and it's still open and that's DATZ. Like, it's an amazing restaurant. And everybody that I saw on social media over the weekend in Tampa, I was inboxing them, telling them to try this place. And one of, the people that I inboxed actually did. And so I'm telling you, like, I like Tampa because the setup, like, it's so easy to maneuver. It's not really a large city. Like, I don't want to spend the summer there, right? But the weather's gorgeous, the food is nice. The mall was, pretty fabulous. Shout out to Patrick DeWalt because he took me to the mall when I was there because he was living there at the time, and my phone went dead, and I shopped for almost like 2 hours before I found him after I was done shopping. And he didn't even cuss me out. So that was a good friend, and I appreciate that. But the fans were nice to me when I was in Tampa too. They offered me barbecue, but I'm funny about touching community food. I have a real huge issue with that. So I didn't try it, but I was definitely offered food. And COVID did kind of scare me away from going down, but I was texting the crew on Saturday debating about catching a plane on Sunday. But I came back to my senses.
Yeah.
But I won't do it again. I mean, next time I think I'm just gonna not text, and I'm just gonna go to the airport and I'll text when I land because I know sometimes if I text D Jones, he's gonna rationalize things for me to not do.
That's how I know
That's
you.
a fact.
That's how I know you really didn't want to go. If you really wanted to go, you would have texted me and said, "Well, guess where I'm at."
No.
Not, hey, should I go?
I'll tell you what it was. It wasn't that I really didn't want to go. I wasn't really sure what I would get to enjoy because of COVID. Like we just were told by Todd, they shut down around the stadium. Whereas like in a regular city with the Super Bowl, you have fans all around the stadium outside. They have extended security for that. And so you can be a part of the experience without being in the game. Mm-hmm. Even with the 9/11, you still post that could have some good fun in the city. But when you have restrictions on where you could go, if I didn't have a table or a reservation or something, I wouldn't want to go all the way to Tampa to watch it in my hotel room. True. So that was pretty much since I didn't think all that out, that was my second thought. But then it was just kind of like, well, it's one day. You don't have to sleep. Just, stand up and make it and tough it out. So that's what I meant, Greg. And, thanks for asking. But like I said, the great game comment was more about my games. I don't think anything Sunday was great as far as a great game. That's for sure. So.
Worst Super Bowl I've ever seen.
I thought it was a good game.
Well, I mean, okay, it wasn't as competitive as I wanted it to be.
Gransberry, I wanted the game too. I was waiting for KC to show up. I'm still waiting for KC to show up.
You ain't lying. It looked like we was there in the first quarter, and then we just fell all the way out.
Y'all was there?
We looked like we was playing it.
Oh, look, when you said that, I thought of Nelly. Right there.
I don't know what was wrong with Tyreek Hill. I don't know what was wrong with my man Kelsey. They was dropping some crucial passes.
Hey, man, Kelsey had 10 catches for over 100 yards. It's just he wasn't getting the extra yards that he'd been getting when people leaving him wide open. He had somebody hitting him as soon as he caught the ball. And they doubled Tyreek with cover two. The bottom line is your coach did not ease up the pass rush. They only rushed 4 people, and they wasn't running the ball. If you try to, you got to run to throw the ball.
That's right.
Even if you ain't running good, you still got to try.
I want to give a shout out. I'm going to interrupt all of y'all because I'm going to give a shout out to my nephew, one of the, top upcoming corners. I want to make sure I shout out my nephew because he a DB.
Hey, isn't he up here in Dallas?
I'm sorry?
Isn't he up here in Dallas?
Yes, in the Dallas area. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. He coming.
He coming. He playing 7-on-7 right now. He coming.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He about that life. So I have 2 more questions. I want to know, one, Q, what was the first thing you did when you finally realized the game was probably sealed? What was the first thing you did? Or can you tell us?
At what point was that, in the third quarter or in
Right.
the fourth quarter?
That's why I said when he thought the game was over.
It was over.
No, not a halftime, man. Because I give Patrick Mahomes more respect than that, especially what he did with last playoffs coming back from behind. So I gave him that much respect to where, even though the score was 21-6 at halftime, I was like, okay, he can still make a run at this thing. But that third quarter, though, Jack, man, let me tell you. Now, when that third quarter came, I'll tell you that the other half. After I got done feeling good, popped one of these bottles over my brother's house, went outside and started, drinking and screaming and yelling. Because, like Ty said, it's been 18 years since we did this thing. So, man, that's how I celebrated.
Hey, man, congratulations to y'all.
And Todd, did you find a good place to eat after the game?
I did, and I dined sufficiently.
Was it a place that you could tell us and share, or was it someone who prepared a feast?
My mother-in-law is from there. So
okay.
I had built in, but I got to give a shout out to my mother-in-law because she did it up right. She had some smothered pork chops, some okra, stewed okra over a bed of rice for us when we got back. So I'm like, and for those in Florida, they or the South know about their check soda. Yeah, that was what we asked for. That's what she. So when we got back, that's
y'all had a good Sunday night dinner,
right?
Victory dinner.
So did you get up and fly back on Monday or drive back on Monday? You did.
I had a 10:45 flight Monday morning, and there's two things I don't miss in life: is meals and flights. So I'm just saying.
Look, I just want you to know that I would say that's the same too for me, but I have missed a few flights, and two to be exact.
Not one,
and
not two.
and
I'm just saying.
7 championship rings.
And let's be clear. Let's be very clear. The last one I just missed, it I couldn't control the traffic. It was just traffic. And I just was like stuck. Like at the airport. I watched my plane take off. That's how close I was.
That's a hurtful feeling, isn't it?
It was just nothing I could do. But that was the only one ungame related. The other ones were game related. And I was in the airport and I missed the flight. Like I was in the airport early. I just was like, oh, they're not calling my flight. And and the first time it happened to me, I will be honest, I cried because I thought I was gonna miss the game. And I was so afraid they wouldn't rebook me properly. And I know you guys are probably like, why would you cry about missing the game? I was emotional. And I don't have any issue with, expressing my emotions. I think Derek, what's the first time I cried? High school. I had my own crying experiences. I had no problem sharing them. So
emotions make you cry sometimes.
I'm sorry?
Emotions make you cry sometimes.
Only my own. But no, I thought I was gonna miss the game and we weren't gonna play that team again for 8 years at home. And so I was like, all I kept thinking about was it'll be 8 years before I could do this trip again. So it was a little emotional for me. So I could understand not wanting to miss flights and of course not miss meals because I'm always battling when we do the show. Am I going to eat before the show or after the show or what'll be open? And it's not like it changes, right? I know every week we're doing the show and I know I have to eat every day and I still get in a battle of before or after. And I'm always trying to decide, will it be open? Will it be closed? Like if I order DoorDash, will it arrive while I'm on air and then I can't get it? Like what could possibly go wrong?
Will they try to hit on you again?
Yeah. And they might try to hit on me. And to be honest with you, like this past weekend, I had amazing DoorDash and Uber Eats. And ironically, the only reason I had both is because I ordered my food from Uber Eats and I wasn't sure it would arrive in time because of my hunger. I was so hungry. and they gave me such a long wait time. I ordered something that said they had a shorter wait time so that I would have something to eat until my food arrived. And
Wow.
they all arrived at the same
Wow.
they all arrived at the same time. So I ended up eating crab and French fries because
Well
all
done.
my food arrived at the same time, and I don't want cold fries. And I had hot steamed crab, and I didn't want cold crab, so I had to eat them at the same time. So it happens. So Q, I hope that at some point you're going to get all, back down to normal, and
Man.
you and I will catch up and get ready for, you know, the amazing basketball season that's underway at this moment. And then you and Todd will part ways and you won't be on the same side, and he'll
Mm-mm.
be feeling the heat. I'm still trying to figure out this fandom. I know you're from Florida, Todd, so
Mm-hmm.
you're a Miami Heat fan, you're a
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay fan. How did you
Mm-hmm.
skip over the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Because
True.
when I was growing up, the Dolphins were sorry, and that was all there was. So when Tampa came along, and we thought, all right, a new team, and then that ugly creamsicle just stuck with me.
Okay.
And I just we ride or die from John McKay to Bruce Arians. We've been there. So
And I got to go back to you, Q. How in
yeah.
the world are you a Tampa Bay fan living in Kentucky? In case y'all didn't know, Q lives in Kentucky. So how do you get all the way down to
Tampa.
Florida?
I'll make it real quick. Growing up as a little kid, my homeboy, he was a big Florida State fan. So whenever I would go kick it over his house on the weekends, he would watch Florida State football games, right? So of course they had a running back by the name of Warwick Dunn. So I fell in love with Warwick
Ah,
Dunn. So when Warwick Dunn got drafted by Tampa Bay Bucks, that became my squad, and I just stuck with him ever since. Even though he left and went to Atlanta, Tampa Bay was still my squad. So that's how I became a Bucks fan by Warwick Dunn.
Oh, you're so loyal. Because I
Hey,
know
hey, 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 thank
That's
you
all
for
right.
joining the squad because we gonna party till July of later this year, so we can get all of our accolades for this Super Bowl 55. I'm just letting y'all know now because see, what had happened was we trying to
uh-oh.
make up for 18 years.
Yeah.
What had
You know
happened?
18
what?
long
That's gonna be your
years.
final comment. Because I mean, I've been waiting 18 years. Like, I don't want to hear about your 18. like, like you act like you saying something that should be like refreshing to my mindset. Like, we've been waiting 18 years, and it's our turn. It's my turn. So I definitely want to catch up with you, later too in the spring, because we got some NASCAR to talk about.
Hey, hey,
We got some
hold on,
NASCAR to
I
catch.
got I got one more thing.
Okay.
23 was at the top of the leaderboard today. Everybody's hating on Bubba, but Michael Jordan and his team, 23-11, was the number one in practice today.
So I'm gonna be getting with you about the track, and
Yeah.
I want to thank you for telling us about your what did you say? Smothered pork chops.
Oh
Fun
yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
I'm really good at making smothered pork chops, but I don't eat them.
All right.
So
Hey, you don't have to eat them. I come down there and you can eat them for you, as long as you do it up right.
you know what? There's a guy named Coach Pat, and usually I help him out when I cook. But lately, I got everything in my freezer. That's how I know he got an entanglement,
I
because I'm stuck with all this food, and he ain't
no.
cooking up.
Hey, hold on. So the
So
crazy part, I had a game memorial. Y'all don't want to talk about that game because that was the game I sent y'all the clip on D
Mm.
Jones and so that day I actually drove by T Berry's house and I was like, oh man. And so when she texted me like, hey, she was texting me about the show and different things about the Super Bowl, whatever. And next thing I know, it was like, I was at your house. I drove by your house. She was like, I'm no longer talking to you for the rest of the night. I was like, okay, I'm used to it. So
He had to go manage them DMs too.
I
I
got
mean,
no.
I'm
Hold
not
on,
mad if he got better offers.
No. Let's be clear. My DMs are not being taken up by entanglements or any other, stuff like that. My DMs are actually dry. Is the Kansas City Chiefs not scoring a touchdown? How about that?
On that note.
Oh, and on that note,
Oh,
on that note,
woo!
Todd, we thank you for joining us. And I
Thank
want to
you very
make
much for
sure
having me.
I don't have it up, but I want to make sure you tell us the Instagram for your hot sauce because I'm sorry I forgot to get it from you.
Oh, that's the hot sauce man. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah, I need to try that hot sauce. Y'all done kicked our tail, so I need your hot sauce now.
All right, I'll handle up on that. It's Teaspoon Willie's official on Instagram, at Teaspoon Willie's on Twitter, and our Facebook page, Teaspoon Willie's. So yeah.
It's Teaspoon Willis. And I'll send you the link after the show, Dwayne. But Todd, I want to thank you for joining us. And
Thanks
you
for
keep
having
chilling
me.
out there on your back patio and have a great night.
You too. You too.
So Coach, I don't want to hear about that because they scored field goals. So
You ain't
yeah.
lying.
Well,
I said touchdowns.
I appreciate both teams.
I said touchdowns.
I appreciate both teams for not scoring in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah, well, you
touchdowns.
made money. You made money.
I
Pat
lost
got,
in that fourth
Pat
quarter
got
rose for me.
DMs.
I lost money on it.
Q got wasted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dwayne lost
And
money.
I lost money. I lost
Lost
$1,000.
money.
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't bet on sports in that
I was
sense.
that confident and that cocky. If I knew what I knew now, I would have voted with Nephew Q. I would have.
Oh,
been
we
like,
know you was cocky. We played your cockiness.
Retirement parties and everything.
I mean,
oh, man,
And
I was
so
cocky.
all I heard was, oh, Tyreek Hill gonna do this, Pat Mahomes gonna do this, Travis Kelce. You know what, Gransberry, Coach Pat, D Jones, y'all live in Houston, right? You know what I'm saying? That's like, you got that car, you got them swangers on that thing, you got that candy tank dripping on that
elbow.
You feel me? You got them knockers in the trunk, you got 12s and 16s back there. But your damn engine ain't no good. You can't even go to the store. That's basically what y'all had. Y'all had all this good looking stuff, but couldn't do nothing with it. That's basically what
Couldn't
y'all
do
had.
nothing. We threw a rod, man. The Arrowhead Express train threw a rod.
I'm sorry because you really built that up really well because the cars be lit, but that's probably because Dwayne's not from Houston, so he lives here, but he's not from here.
Mm-mm.
He probably needed a tractor trailer because you're from Waco, right?
Yeah. I needed a
So
good tractor trailer.
so he didn't plow that field right. So it is what it is.
Can't put swangers on them. Can't swing on them things.
I was like them people on Trading Places when they was at the end. I'm like, turn those machines back on. I was screaming at the TV, cut the game back on. Give me one more quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, is this really the end? Like, this it? Like, no end zone? This it?
No, it was fun. It was funny.
I got it so bad. Boy, my phone kept ringing. I got so many texts. People were like, "Oh, don't act like you're gone ghost now." I didn't even want to answer the phone. I was like, "We're not doing that."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So this is one of those moments, where it's like, so do you want to be in the game and lose, or do you want to not make it?
You always want to be in the game.
You always
want to be in the game.
And so that goes back to, always our team sport argument, Q, about our boy being there, and the number of times you go should always rank higher than people who ain't been in the first place trying to tell you how often you need to win. Now, of course, you can rank the winners that have went, right? We're going to always talk about, Joe Montana and his wins. But, now Brady has more, even though he may have lost in a few.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it is what it is.
Buffalo Bills went 4 times, never won. But they still had some great teams, but they didn't win.
They didn't
win. Happened.
I think C Breezy said it best when he said, "How you gonna talk
But
about me in the club and you can't get in?"
Kansas City will be back next year. We will be back because the AFC don't have anything on us.
And
We'll
so
be
on
back.
that note, your night is over. And what you should do is get you a new engineer for that train and mind your business and tell everybody where they can find you. And hopefully it's not in a neighborhood with a white van.
No, it's not a neighborhood with a white van. I'm your friendly neighborhood guy on Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook, I'm Dwayne O. Johnson. And on Instagram, I'm Big Dapper Dane, Dane. So go ahead
I
and
still
check
ain't
that
figured
out.
that one out, but okay.
We'll have to add that one later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dwayne, and you have a great night.
You too. And y'all
And
take
we're
care.
gonna
I
head on
enjoyed
over to
myself.
Nephew Q. Nephew Q, we can only let you leave the way we brought you in, on a high note. So make sure you tell the people how they can find out more about your shows on Monday, and also He Said, She Said on Thursday.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Coach Pat D. Jones and most like Gransberry for having me on here. I really do appreciate this. I love coming kicking it with you guys. Y'all have so much knowledge and everything. And like I said, Gransberry, we go back and forth sometimes. You still my girl. You still my girl. But anyways, everybody, y'all can find me at KY Beyond the Game on Facebook. You can also check me out on YouTube at KY Beyond the Game as well. And like Gransberry mentioned earlier, I do have another show that I do with two other people called He Said, She Said. You can check us out on He Said, She Said Radio on Facebook as well every Thursday night at 6 p.m. So that's 5 p.m. down there in Houston for you guys.
Well, you have a great night and a good show tomorrow. And thank you for joining us. And I hope that we made your honeymoon, pre-honeymoon,
Y'all
headed to
did.
honeymoon amazing.
Y'all did. I'm about to go, drink up some more. Celebrate some more, baby.
Have a good one.
Congratulations.
Y'all have a good one. I'm out.
Well, B, I mean, there's your drinking buddy. I mean, for those dry DMs you got, since you claiming they so dry. That's why they dry. That right there. Don't tell nobody that no more. Don't do that.
It's been a good season. It's been a good season.
It's been a great season. Look, I mean, I know we're gonna still talk and have a show, but it's kind of like, guys, I still was a little.
You got emotional?
Yeah.
Emotions make you cry sometimes. That's what H-Town said.
Look, I'm so emotional about it's the end of the season. Well, the season's over. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what to do with myself, but I've come up with some amazing things to share. I'm going to do my NFL agent series next. And that'll be with Corey Williams of OSMG, Overtime Sports Management, and basically, talk about this COVID combine. And one of his clients was invited to the COVID combine, as much as it is a combine. And so I can't wait to share that information with you and how that's working this year and the inner workings of basically being an agent. And I'm just going to try to figure out this first Sunday with no football and see if I can emotionally get through the whole day. I mean, when you have really planned every Sunday to be devoted to the game, it's like, whew. And, usually you can recover, right? Because this will be like All-Star weekend. And so you get ready for All-Star and you could have something to kind of tide you over. And I absolutely have nothing. I mean, I have games, but it's not the same. There's so much basketball still left that it's not really the same. So, Derek, do you feel like you're going to have any withdrawals, or it's just, okay?
I always have football withdrawals, but I'm okay at the beginning because it's other stuff that's going on, and I kind of feel that time. I start getting that itch right after the draft. Me personally, the draft. Once the draft is over and you got that dead time in between, like May, June, July, I'm like, when is it going to get here? That anticipation, like Christmas morning. But right now, my excitement kind of focuses on the college game and the incoming guys. So that's kind of how I feel it in, just getting ready for that. What you do, Coach?
First of all, shout out to the NFL. They got every single game in around the normal time. You know, I mean, who would thought they had everything? You know, I mean, they had postponements, but they actually finished it that week of, or moved some games around. They actually finished every single game before the Super Bowl. They didn't have to push anything back, Super Bowl wise. And then, of course, you know, you had that 1 week with the Pro Bowl they could have used, but they didn't. Um, I'm like D Jones. I'm starting to look at some of the college guys. Some of the I'm kind of excited to see where Trey Lance is going to come at the QB out of South Dakota State. See what they do. Those type of quarterbacks. Justin Fields, with Lawrence out of Clemson, and just want to see where they're going to land. But I'm a basketball guy as well, so
Oh,
right
you
now,
are.
yeah, I'm a basketball guy as well. You know, so I'm gonna be watching as much basketball as I possibly can, college or pro. And then of course we got the high school playoffs basketball wise coming up. This week the girls start, next week the boys start, and then go from there. And then when, like you said, when June come around, May or June, football season.
Well, as always, it's time for everybody to share where you can be found. And so my boy D Jones can let you guys know where you can find him on social media. Take it to him, D.
Instagram, D Jones 9804. On Twitter, that boy, D Jones. Get at me.
And our guy, Coach Pat, who says his DMs are as dry as the Kansas City Chiefs in the end zone. So help your boy, Coach Pat, out and hit them DMs because we know it goes down in the DMs. So tell him where those DMs are live and in effect, B.
DMs aren't live in effect, but Twitter, you catch me on Twitter and Instagram, Coach B Pat. Holla at me.
Holla at you. See, that's an invitation to the DM. And as
They gonna be left
always,
alone.
the girl, the Gransberry, I'm available at the Gransberry. It's pretty simple. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You should join me on TikTok. On TikTok every Tuesday, I do a travel TikTok and show you a new place that I visited, pretty much stadiums for right now. And you can get some insight to how much fun it is to do sports travel. You can always check me out on my website, which is thegransberry.com. I keep it simple. And guys, even with all that's going on, and the football season has come to an end, your girl was a solo pick for the big game. She still beat Coach Pat, and taking chances don't always mean you right unless you hit that ground running. Right, Coach?
Hey, not every shot was taken. Kobe shot a bunch of shots. He made a bunch of shots too as well.
Yeah, just like you hit that flow. All right, then. Night.